if this is real stuff, what is really going on? I know there's a lot of people out there that don't want to believe it because this is going to trip their minds out. I should put a disclaimer in this video, like, don't watch this video if you're easily tripped out, because when I saw this stuff for the first time, I was tripping out, like, what the heck?
But what he found shocked everyone and could leave you wondering, are UFOs real?
Look at this thing. It's rotating.
They're not actually saying extraterrestrial. They're saying, let's take a good look at this. And I think as a scientist,
there was a huge gash in the land where something had crashed, and
you get inside this thing, and it's designed for something that's much smaller than a human being.
Yeah, you can't really stand up till you get to the
talk about the UFO. He goes, yeah, I can't get it out of my mind. And
this is the beginning of the campaign for disclosure.
I killed 2 of them. Yes, they're mortal, and they do die.
What is up, everyone, and welcome to my channel. Hope everyone is having a good quarantine. So I'm making this video because the lockdown has me going on some pretty deep rabbit holes down in YouTube. So today we're going to talk about aliens,
the extraterrestrial threat.
We're going to start off with the safe stuff, and then as the video goes, I'm gonna show you some weirder and weirder stuff.
I pray, oh Yahweh, that you send a sighting so that they know that I am not mentally ill.
If you're an alien buff, you've probably heard about most of these stories. These stories are kind of old. I figured I'd make a video about it because I'm always trying to tell people, hey, you should watch this video. You should watch this video. It's really convincing. And everyone's like, yeah, right. You know, no one believes in aliens.
I've told this story many times, and I'd get sometimes funny looks from people.
So I figured I'll make this video. Definitely check these stories out. I'm not going to go into too much depth into each story. I'm just going to kind of brush on the main highlights of each one. But I hope you enjoy the video. Yeah, so let's just get into it. Smash that like button so YouTube will share this video with other people. And let's get started on our first topic today. All right, so the first guy that we're gonna be talking about today is a guy called Commander Furber. Commander Furber. Commander Furber is a Navy pilot that saw him and another pilot, I believe his co-pilot, were chasing a UFO that was shaped like a tic-tac.
Tic-tac shaped object just hovering above the water.
And they followed this thing for a while, and it made these really crazy maneuvers.
It rapidly accelerates to the south in about 2 seconds and disappears.
But basically why this is important is because it's the first time that the United States government has officially acknowledged the existence of UFOs.
Because President Clinton said he did go right in, and he did check, and there was nothing.
Well, you know, that's what we're instructed to say.
And they're basically corroborating with stories that are told by our military members. And I think that's really important because it should get us asking the question, what are they? Where are they from? Who's making them? We should be asking more of these questions.
if they're saying something they can't explain, maybe it's time to take a closer look.
So that got me researching further into military members that have seen UFOs or claim they've seen UFOs. And I stumbled upon something called the Disclosure Project.
Testify to this under oath to a congressional hearing.
I will testify under oath before Congress that everything that I have said is true.
These statements are true. I'm willing to testify under oath before Congress. Thank you.
I will say at this point, to keep it short, that I will testify under oath as to what I say is true, and I will do so before Congress. Thank you. I'm willing to testify to the truth of all these matters that I've spoken about this in front of Congress under oath. Thank you.
And what the Disclosure Project is in 2001, this Dr. Stephen Greer, he got all these military members together.
We are here today to disclose the truth about a subject that has been ridiculed and questioned, denied for at least 50 years. And the some 350 additional military intelligence witnesses can prove and will prove that we are not alone. And we decided that it was time for civilians, military, intelligence, and other people to come together to disclose the truth about the subject which is called UFOs. The reason we are coming forward now is that we are asking for the U.S. Congress and for President Bush to move towards an official inquiry and disclosure on this subject. If indeed, as we can prove, it is true that we are not alone, and that space is territory which we are sharing with other civilizations. Because these men and women have come forward and they have their credentials, they can establish who they are, and they have been first-hand witnesses to some of the most important events in the history of the human race.
And I think there's 20 of them at this conference, but there's actually 4 hours of testimony. People that are on this panel, if you watch this, they have some pretty incredible stories, and it's really worth looking into. There's a couple guys that claim to have actually come in contact, like directly in contact with them.
Describe what they look like.
I could, but it would probably take a whole lot of time. The reason I state that, when I got out in 1989, we had cataloged 57 different species. You have individuals that look very much like you and myself that could walk among us and you wouldn't even notice the difference.
If you're a skeptic, you could say, you know, oh, how do we know they're real? How do we know they're not lying? We're like, we don't. But, you know, if we're just skimming over this, it's definitely something it's an argument to be made. So that got me looking more into government employees who had been involved with UFOs and who were whistleblowers and stuff like that. And I stumbled on this guy, Robert Lazar, or Bob Lazar. And basically what he was a physicist that worked at Area 51.
But for people who don't know the story, let's give them the bullet points. You used to work at Area 51. And Area 51... God, you went like, huh?
Well, you know, we want to be accurate.
Okay.
Area S4.
S4. Okay.
It's about 15 miles south of Area 51.
Okay.
But
you worked in how would you describe it?
I guess within the Area 51 compound. You can call that a subset of Area 51.
And you got that job. Before that, you were working...
Before that, I had worked at Los Alamos
right.
National Labs in New Mexico.
And you were involved in what kind of work?
Nuclear weapon development, physics. I mean, they do everything there.
So how do they approach you to say, hey, Bob, why don't you come on out to the Nevada desert?
And he has a crazy story. They actually made a documentary about it recently. I think it's on Netflix. You could watch it. But he has an incredible story. He was a Area 51 physicist, and he basically got in trouble for telling friends about what he was doing out there and going out and filming a test flight.
We need to all go out here. I want to show you what's going on. So I took everybody, and we went out to, remember, since I had the test flight schedule, and went outside the base, out into the desert, and so everybody could see, you know, one of the high-performance tests. And, you know, it left quite an imprint on everybody, so they knew I wasn't
And there's videos
crazy.
of these tests, right?
He ultimately felt like his life was in danger, so he came public with this and was like, well, I'd rather be called crazy than disappear, as they say. And this was back in the 80s this happened, and then it just kind of, again, resurfaced recently with this new documentary. So yeah, definitely worth checking out if you're into aliens and UFOs. He's got a crazy story, so I started researching more government employees that might have crazy stories. And I stumbled upon this guy, Phil Schneider.
I'm Phil Schneider. I spent 17 years in black budget programs. Government geologist, as engineer, structural engineer with aerospace applications.
Probably one of my favorite stories. This video is kind of hard to watch. It's very old. It's shot in 1995. This is called the Preparedness Expo that he's at, I believe. And basically, he was coming out with his story that he claimed that had him on the run and people were trying to kill him. That he had, some like 14 attempts on his life in the last year. He basically tells this story about how his job in the government was to build underground bases. He was like a chemist, and he would get rock samples and he would make the explosives to clean out these caverns inside mountains to make underground bases. And he basically tells a story.
The equipment kept coming up broken, so we wanted to go down. We wanted to send somebody down there, a human observer, or human observers in this case, to find out what was going on. Well, to our total surprise, first of all, the government knew all about it. They didn't tell anybody. When I saw Green Beret and Black Beret people encamped inside of our geologist camp, I knew something was up, the gig was up. First of all, I knew all about the alien agenda. I'll explain that in a few minutes. The large alien grays had been encamped there for as best as believed possible about 400 or 500 years. Had been one of their internal bases. And we drilled holes right on top of it. All the stinking air, all the black sooty air came right out as soon as the first hole was sunk, and all this soot came up, and well, that's when all the hell broke loose, really, all started. Anyway, after we drilled all 4 holes, it took about 2 days to drill all 4 of them. And when you build an underground base, you drill 4 basic holes, and you build called stopes or cross-member holes across, and you use blasting equipment, and special blasting equipment by the analyzation of the rock formation, and you literally blast out or tunnel out or deflagrate or melt rock out to build the large rooms that are required for this underground base. Well, in this process, I was lowered down the basket of one of these holes, and about from me to this elderly woman here in the front was sitting a 7-foot-tall alien gray. The stench was worse than the worst garbage can you can imagine. The person was or the entity was absolutely horrible. I didn't waste any time. I reached for my pistol. At that time, I was an engineer. I didn't have time to carry all the folderol of one of these big submachine guns that all the sea spray and the yellow fruit and all the outer perimeter and inner perimeter security people carried. I carried a little Walther PPK pistol with a 9-shot clip. This was in late August of 1979. Now, you got a regular suit of clothes, you got a regular clothes on, plus you're in almost like a spacesuit environment, and you're reaching for a gun. It's not the easiest thing to do, and then to pop a clip in it and start shooting. And I killed 2 of them. Yes, they're mortal, and they do die. However, in the process, one of them did this. All I remember is that he just kind of waved his hand in front of his chest, and the next thing I know, this blue beam hit me and just literally opened me up like a fish, and burnt my fingers right off of me. And it was some form of electrical force, because the kind of like being hit by a lightning bolt burned all my toenails off of me. Completely crispy crittered my left foot. Burnt the shoe right off of me. All I remember is the smoking remains, and I'm still conscious, but in and out of, I didn't remember much. And there was a Green Beret that was right behind me that risked his life. In fact, he died. But he risked his life. He shoved me back in the basket and hit the button and took me up. And I wouldn't be alive talking to you today if it wasn't for him. I'm forever indebted. He lost his life. 66 Secret Service agents, Green Berets, Black Berets, crack troops lost their lives because the government, our United States government, lied, did not tell us anything about the alien threat. There's a war underneath there, and I'm talking dead serious.
Phil Schneider is no longer with us to corroborate that story, but it is a really crazy, insane story and worth checking out. All right, so have you weirded you out yet? Because it gets weirder. It gets even weirder. I don't know how you get weirder than killing 2 aliens, actually. That's pretty weird. But, you know, I'm trying to, like, segue everything, make it all hook up and match, all right? All right, let's finish up John Wygant.
We were sent there to provide perimeter security to this radar installation. Basically, this radar station was tracking supposedly drug aircraft, and they came to us and said, "Look, you know, we got a situation where we have an aircraft crash that's possibly friendly, and they need us to go and secure the crash site." And basically, we were the first ones to see the object craft. This is a huge ship, and dripping this syrup-like syrup viscosity, this liquid. It was everywhere, all down, everywhere when we went down there, because there was plants and everything. And it was weird. It was a purplish green color, and it was a greenish purple, and it kind of like fluctuated. Like you couldn't really, when you'd look at it one time, then you look at it again, and it would it's almost like it. I don't know if it was like alive and it was just changing, but every time you looked at it, you saw a different shade of greenish purple. It was strange, and I don't know why we went there still to this day. But anyway, I was arrested. I had all my gear taken from me by men in black camis, had no name tags. They were older men, probably in their late 30s or 40s. How long was I at the site? Probably about 15, 20 minutes. We were the first people on the position, yeah.
And then shortly you said...
All right, so next up, you need to research this guy, Prophet Yahweh. I don't know what happened to him because he hasn't been around for like 11 years. I think his last post, no, like 7 years. I think his last post was 7 years. But this guy was on the Las Vegas news because he claimed that he could summon UFOs by praying.
But what he found shocked everyone and could leave you wondering, are UFOs real?
An extraordinary claim about extraterrestrials. So we sent Action News reporter Mike Delastrito to check it out. Mike?
All right, guys, just listen up here. This guy says the Old Testament, written in Hebrew, taught him how to summon UFOs. All right, he says he can also do this on command, and he adds he's been doing it for 25 years, keeping all of it secret until now.
These beings are here. They are here. They're just sitting right up there.
We met up with Prophet Yahweh, seer of Yahweh, at Doolittle Park off Lake Mead. We picked the day, we picked the time, and we picked the location. Everyone's going to think you're absolutely nuts.
Well, I thought I was absolutely nuts.
Until he says he saw UFOs. Over the years, 1,500 of them. Two clouds. When the prophet started praying for a sighting, I wasn't exactly convinced.
I pray, oh Yahweh, that you send a sighting so that they know that I am not mentally ill. I am not a false prophet, like those who seek to kill me say I am.
I see something straight up.
Oh, brother, look at it. There it is.
You can barely see it, a white speck. Then another sighting.
There it is. I got it.
Photojournalist Jonathan Hawkins locks in on it. Let's take a closer look here. It's an orange sphere that appeared out of nowhere. I call the boss with an unexpected change in my story. I can see it clear as day. In fact, it's bright.
I can't believe this.
It's moving pretty fast. And I'm still not quite sure what those things were. Now, if I didn't see this for myself, I probably would have just laughed this whole thing off.
If I didn't see it on the news, I don't think I would believe it. And maybe the news is falsing a story, maybe, but I would be mad. I would be really mad if I found out the news was faking me out with a story like that. But pretty incredible stuff. Prophet Yahweh, check him out. Summoning UFOs. What is going on for real? All right, guys, and I think that's really it for the video. But look this video up. UFO over Dome of the Rock in Jerusalem.
אתה מצלם? אתה רואה?
אני רואה, מה זה? תגיד, שתים יותר מדי? לא.
לא, כולנו רואים את זה.
מה זה? 5 עיניים.
שיו!
יואו! רוד, בלין. מה זה?
So anyways, that's all the time that I got for today. I hope you liked the video. Smash that thumbs up if you haven't already. If you like exploring videos or just interesting videos like this that I like to post, go ahead and subscribe to this channel. I try to post almost every week. I'm trying to put out some new content. But anyways, thanks to everyone who subscribed already and keeps watching my videos and hitting those thumbs up button. I really appreciate it. You make this, doing these, way more fun and worth the while. So I hope everyone out there is enjoying their quarantine. Don't get too bored. My mom always said only boring people get bored. You can find something to entertain you. You can learn something new. You can work out, better yourself in some way. But love you guys. I'll see you in the next video. I'll see you out there. Peace.